Fighting both at ringside and in the ring has become tired, dated, and predictable in WWE 2K games. Use of the corner barricades, barriers, commentary tables, match dynamics, it's been the same for years. But there's a lot of opportunities down the line to give players more options in and outside of the ring to really get creative while keeping true to the product. So let's take a look at some ways we can fix this. Welcome to Ringside and Gameplay Reboot. Let's start with ringside. The arena layout for a typical WWE product lacks some of the details that we might like to see and take advantage of. On the hard cam side, you can see that there is no actual hard cam. It's filled with fans. So let's add that in there. We'll come to the reason why in a moment, but let's head back to the ringside area. The floor mats are just textures on the floor, but they do have the tape on each section. The ability to pull up the floor mats from two specific points would enable much more diverse action and some opportunities to inflict more damage on your opponent. The two places that make sense are the ring mats by the entrance ramp and on the direct opposite side of the ring. This way we still have dedicated spaces for the ladder to barricade set up on the north and south sides of the ring as well. Moving on to the guardrails, they've been used during matches on numerous occasions as springboards or even run along by cruiserweights to dive onto their opponents. Adding the ability to do this for certain weight types gives players more creative ways to attack and will truly make it feel like you use every part of the ringside. Now to something I brought up in a tweet recently, the Timekeepers area. This area should hold 4 different things: a mic, at least 2 chairs, a championship if a superstar brought one down, and the Timekeeper's bell. That area has been broken for access before on TV, or even just walked around by the commentary tables, but we haven't been able to access any of those things for a while. Championships just disappear once you get to the ring. Let's add the ability back in and let the players take these things to use in the match. Speaking of breaking things, let's talk about the corner barricades. All 4 are breakable, but only the top 2 give you access to the crowd environments to fight in. Let's change that. Opening up the bottom paths should allow you to battle through that side of the crowd. Remember the hard cam area I spoke about earlier? Depending on the arena, access to the hard cam area, which has production crates, could liven up a falls count anywhere or a no disqualification match. There's something else I'd like to do while I'm talking about fighting in the crowd. Chairs should be something that you can pick up from the crowd. Not all of them, but certain rows should have the availability to pick up weapons for you to use, whether it's a random drink that's on the floor or a box of popcorn. And that small weapons area in the top corner? Let's get rid of that and instead open a path to battle on the stairs and into the stands. Following the path around, you come to this area, a huge service entrance. Previously, WWE have used scaffolding in this area. It adds another place for players to really experiment with, and if you can throw them off the top of a lorry, then you should be able to throw them from the stands down through scaffolding. And finally, let's move on to the commentary area. Each area is different, but there's a few things I'd like to add. Commentary tables should be mountable without removing the top cover, giving you the ability to jump off them or fight toe-to-toe on them. But removing the top cover gives you access to a new weapon: TV monitors. Pull them out for the commentary table and use them against your opponent. Simple things like this add depth to the gameplay, given that small items like this should be usable in a match. Talking about the matches themselves made me want to dig into the gameplay, and it's been the same for years now, and while there's been some fine-tuning and a lot of issues with the latest version of the game, I'd like to try an improvement out. First off, let's switch back to WWE 2K19 controls. The WWE 2K20 controls just didn't work. They lost a lot of functionality, little things such as lowering straps are lost with the new scheme, and people were annoyed with the change to the reversal button. Now we've got WWE 2K19 controls back, let's switch something up. And there's a reason for this. Let me introduce you to a new mechanic for gameplay: match pace. Wrestling is generally broken down into different paces. This allows the superstars to create a story in the ring, but we've never had anything as robust in the game before. But I believe introducing the match pace system could change the way that we play, adding a layer of strategy and realism like never before. Let's give you an example. Before this match starts, both player 1 and player 2 can select what pace they want to start the match on. Mysterio and Orton both pick a quick pace. As the match begins, Rey Mysterio sprints out of his corner and immediately hits Orton with a dropkick. The control of the pace now lies with Mysterio, so Orton's selling, animations, and reactions will be affected by the pace that Mysterio sets. In quick pace, stamina drains faster, the animations are quicker for the attacker, and Randy will pop up quicker to meet each move. As damage is taken through the match and stamina drains, selling and reactions to each pace will gradually become slower. But there's another price to pay. The damage in quick pace is less than what it would be compared to the other paces, but that's the price you pay for keeping control of the match this way. Orton manages to counter Rey. This took some good timing as counter windows are smaller when you're being attacked by somebody that's in quick pace, but the counter damage Orton dishes out is significant, and it opens up an opportunity to take control. As Orton also has a quick pace selected, Rey reacts and sells accordingly, getting up quickly to meet the next move. Having both players in quick pace allows for fast-paced exchanges and counters. If Orton had been in strong pace, the counter would have resulted in a brutal clothesline that put Mysterio on the canvas for much longer. Orton can switch pace at any time using the D-pad. You'll know if the pace has been switched because of an audio cue from Michael Cole, but also you'll see in the bottom on the HUD. So before the player does this, let's take a quick look at all the match paces available and what their benefits and pitfalls are. Just to go over this one again, quick pace results in the fastest stamina drain, quicker animations for both attackers and defenders, the counter windows are smaller for defenders, but when a counter is successful, the damage is bigger than it normally would be, and attacker damage is lessened compared to the other paces. Working pace results in normal stamina drain, normal animations, counter windows are standard, and damage is normal. This is your standard pace. Technical pace results in slower stamina drain. Rest holds are available and allow you to deal smaller amounts of damage, but in return, this builds up your stamina again. It also results in slower animations as you're working your opponent. Counter windows require more precise timing, and damage is normal for standard moves. Strong pace results in faster stamina drain, but slower animations due to bigger and more impactful moves such as powerbombs, the last ride, gorilla press slams, power slams, and corner moves like strong chops. Counter windows are slightly bigger than standard, but the damage is 1.5 times more than the working pace. If you hit someone with big moves at this pace, you're gonna deal some big damage. Of course, all of this is affected by the superstar's stats too. In this instance, the player controlling Orton keeps the fast pace going, a couple of shoulder tackles, with Rey popping up to meet each one. Orton then changes the pace to the technical pace using the right button on the D-pad, using it to take Mysterio down and apply some rest holds in to regain some of his stamina before switching to the working pace to wear his opponent down. To accompany this new gameplay mechanic, I've also introduced some new paybacks and binned all the less realistic ones. I've removed Tank Buff, Fortify, Beast Mode, Charged Fury, Electrifying, Rush, and Hands of Fate. I've also put Move Thief in with the standard abilities, so you can activate it without needing to earn a payback. Joining the paybacks are Relentless Assault, which gives you infinite stamina for a short period of time, Countermaster, which increases the counter window for you for a short time, and Mat Technician, which increases the damage from submissions and rest holds. Let's get back to the action. Orton switches to the strong pace using down on the D-pad and attempts to use a stalling suplex, but Mysterio counters. He changes the pace to quick pace and attempts a running attack on Orton. At this point, the player activates another new feature, counter finishes. Pressing the counter button and your finisher button at the right time reverses the attacker's move and automatically applies your finisher. Some reversals will result in unique counters into finishes, and it also gives you the ability to reverse finishes into finishes with some unique counters. Multi-man matches work the same way. Whoever you interact with will react to whatever pace your superstar is in. There's only a few times when they don't. Outside dives, OMGs, and finishes. So there's a glimpse of the new match pace mechanic, and the addition of counter finishers, but there's more. After the match, Orton continues the assault. All of Mysterio's animations are slow and lumbered, but he slowly regains stamina. Orton can continue the assault and try to injure Mysterio, or he can end it and leave via the entrance ramp. The idea here was to take away the timer that you had, so you can continue the assault for as long as you wanted. The option here when the stamina does reach a certain point for Mysterio though, is that he will be able to fight back. And that is my WWE 2K Gameplay Reboot. What would you add to Ringside? Do you think the match pace system is a good idea? Let me know down in the comments, then I'll catch you in the next video.